this up with a segment. I'm going to say a name of a driver and give me like 1 or 2 words to describe him.
Okay.
Right, Steve Kinzer.
GOAT, greatest of all time.
Donnie Schatz.
Greatest of this decade.
Joey Saldana.
I think he's actually going to be the next Steve Kinzer, Donnie Schatz.
Fred Raymer.
Greatest of all time around here.
Stevie Smith.
You know, actually, I think Stevie's a heck of a damn driver. I'll be honest with you. I have a lot of respect for him. He's won races everywhere. I wish he wouldn't have got off of racing for, in the last decade. He's been kind of part-time. I think if he got back, and again, this is supposed to be one-word answers, but I'm going to expand on it. I think when he's on his game, there's nobody better.
Lance DeWeese.
I think Lance is a great driver. I think he's probably got more natural talent than a lot of people give him credit for. He's won a ton of races, and I think he's very smart. He's as good of a mechanic as he is a driver, to be honest with you, and that's pretty darn good.
Doug Esch.
I think Doug is on the verge of breaking out into. He's a very good driver. I think he's learning. Sometimes to be faster, you have to slow down, and I think when he gets his car in under him and gets comfortable and gets going, he's a force to be reckoned with.
Cody Dara.
I think Cody probably has the most potential of anybody I've seen in a long time. I think he has an opportunity that unfortunately has been sidetracked, obviously because of his accident, but I think he has a great opportunity, he has great talent, he has great charisma. I think he can probably go further from here as far as he wants to. I think you could see him in many other places besides sprint car racing in the near future.
Todd Schaefer.
Todd Schaefer is very consistent. He is he's a very determined driver. He doesn't crash. He is always there. He's had, I don't know, I'm thinking I need to retire because ever since he's retired, he's been on fire. So, but yeah, he's always been a great competitor. He's probably the smoothest guy in the pits as far as for driving. And actually, if you've seen or even witnessed his go-karting accomplishments, it's even better in sprint cars, to be honest with you. And I know when Lee worked with him in Australia, he told me the same thing. He's by far the smoothest guy he's ever worked with.
Brian Monteith.
He is the edge, but as corny as that sounds, I think Brian is not given enough credit for being, I guess, level-headed for as hard as he drives. I think he never crashes. He very rarely crashes. Let's put it that way. For as on the edge as he is, he's very much in control. I think he, in the last couple of years, has really done a great job of knowing how far to push and still keep it under him. I think they have a good program. Jerry Parrish and those guys, they do a good job. I think he definitely has come a long way, and I would see him winning more and more championships in the future because of it.
I've got 2 more for you. We have last night's winner, Mark Smith.
Mark, I don't know Mark that well. I think he's come a long way. I think him and Timmy are starting to click a little bit. I think he does a good job. Again, anybody that just kicks your ass, you can't say that they don't do a good job. It'd be pretty dumb. But no, I think Mark's doing a good job. He's come a long way. He obviously dominated the Super Sportsman for a long time. The thing about these guys is, they know how to win. They have the desire to win, and given enough time to where they get acclimated, they're going to win. And obviously Mark's won before when he's driven Simcoe's car or the 53 car or whatever. But I think his consistency, especially with Timmy, has come a long, long way. You don't see him crashing, like just off the wall crashing, kind of like when he started, but I think he's come a long way, and he's doing a good job.
And then two of the young guns in the sport. We have the 2008 National Sprint Car Pole Rookie of the Year, Pat Cannon. What do you think about him in 410?
I think he's really good. I mean, I think he's very smooth. I think he's you know, obviously talking to him and looking at him, he doesn't look like a real aggressive guy, but I think he is. I mean, I think he's the 358s. I'll be honest with you, I don't know if I've seen anybody as smooth and as fast as him in a long time. Like he's darn good. And the 410 transition, I think he's doing a really good job with it, because I know it's not easy jumping and gaining 200 horsepower. Well, it may not even be that much anymore. 150 horsepower, and not that it's a ton, but it is different. So the cars react different. You go from a steel block to aluminum block. So I mean, there are differences that you have to compensate for. And I think when they got their, I think the first couple of weeks they transitioned there in the 3-car, they had a problem or two. Just kind of maybe they were trying to run the same setup and just. And once they changed it, they've been really fast. I mean, he had a quick time at the National Open. I think ran a top 6 or 7 or something like that. So, I mean, obviously he's a capable driver. I think it's getting a package done that he feels comfortable with, that he can race kind of anywhere on a racetrack. If you do that for him, same thing. When a guy's used to winning, guy knows how to win. If you give him enough time, he's going to win. So I think it's a good force to be reckoned with.
And then we'll stay in that same category. The 2009 Sprint Car Pole National Rookie of the Year, Adam Wilt.
From what I've seen, I think he does a really good job. He obviously gasses her up. Like, that's not a problem. Fear or lack of a heavy foot is not a problem there. The only thing that I could say is, as constructive criticism, because I think he's doing a really good job, sometimes I can see where if the positions that the few crashes that I have seen him, what has seemed to happen on the outside looking in is maybe could have been avoided. I think as a rookie, those are just things you kind of figure out, and sometimes to finish first, you have to finish. And you know, there's times guys are coming across where you just got to let them go. And you know, unfortunately, being a young, aggressive guy like that, I mean, easel on the hammer, ready to go. But sometimes holes close quickly, and sometimes you just got to take yourself out of position. But I think he's going to do a good job. Obviously, he did a great job last year. Came out, won a couple races, ran well pretty much all year. No, he did a good job. You know, the only thing that I hated to see happen to him, he got in a couple crashes. Not really his fault. It's just wrong place, wrong time, with altercations with other guys. Yeah, once he figures out, you know, that little part of it, where, hey, you know what, sometimes it's better to say, maybe it isn't going to happen this corner, I'll get him the next corner, or something like that. And once he figures it out, he'll be fine. So I expect him to keep running strong, to win a lot of races. They have, you know, they have good guys around them, they have good equipment, and I think they're going to do well.
Yeah, well, I'd like to thank you for meeting with me today.
No problem, man.
And if you'd like to learn any more about Greg Hodnett, you can go to GregHodnettMotorsports.com.